What's up? What's up? Hey, Vet. What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up, Austin? What's up? How you guys doing? How you guys like that beat? That's the Blessings instrumental. Guys, got an awesome presentation tonight. I'm excited. Excited. Invite everybody you can right now. There it is again. That's a good goal. Catch. Thank you. Yeah, I had to get some Drake for tonight. Guys, if you have any interest at all in real estate, tonight is the night to be on this scope. Even a small interest. Thank you for the hearts. Guys, we surpassed 50,000 hearts, which is a huge accomplishment considering that we don't have a lot of people on the scope. Hopefully we get JC and some other guys in here. If anybody has 2 phones and you guys want to alert people, I already went into the quad room, a couple quad rooms, posted that we were going to be having something right now. Austin, thanks for the invitations. Alright guys, as I was saying, very excited about tonight. So tonight was started off with basically one question, and the question was, Money, what's up? Money Don't Sleep is in the house. Scotty, what's up? Guys, sound off. Where's everybody from? I know where a few of you guys are from, but there's some new people in the room. So, York, Pennsylvania. Awesome. Louisiana. Austin, I didn't know you were down there. I didn't know you were down south. Florida. Nice. New Jersey, New York. So what we got? East Coast. We got the South representing. Money Don't Sleep is in the house. She doesn't think that this is live, right? That's hard for some people to comprehend that something is live over the phone streaming this well. So guys, let me just say that tonight started off with one question, and that question was, what separates people that are successful from people that are not successful, right? Now, assuming that people are qualified, you have 2 qualified people, there are many instances where some people are successful and others are not. And so what is that factor that comes into play? And so that's exactly what we're going to be talking about tonight, all right? Now, let me just give you a quick glimpse at the notes for tonight. I'm going to go through everything with the intro and stuff like that. If you are just joining and this is your first time on my scope, my name is Jay Salvati. I am a technology entrepreneur, and I am the founder and CEO of Fit Businessman, the brand Fit Businessman, and the website. And I'm also a consultant to financial companies and startup companies in the tri-state area. That's New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. So we did the catch. Heart goal for tonight, we're going to go for 20,000 hearts. Austin, thank you for posting the email. If you guys want to get in touch with me, that's my personal email. You guys can write an introduction and what you do, and just so I have it on file. And if we have an opportunity to connect in the future, that would be great. Yes, and follow. Let me just get the note. Alright guys, so tonight on this episode of the Startup Warplan, we're going to be talking about vision. Okay? What is the thing that separates people from success? It's vision. One word. Okay? Now this is session 8 of 8. We had 7 previous sessions to this, and the whole idea was to give you a plan, not just any plan, but a war plan, something to go to battle with when it comes to starting your business, because that's literally what it is. If you'd like to follow me, it's the same handle on Instagram, Periscope, and Snapchat, Fit Businessman. And our heart goal, 20,000 hearts. We just went over the program. We already got the catch. We did the intro, and bam, time to invite again, guys. So if you can get an invite, we're going to get right into the bulk of tonight's lesson. Let me just turn this. By the way, guys, you guys like that view? That's my vision board right there. I stood in that living room last year. It wasn't to buy that house, but next time I stand in that living room, it will be. Alrighty. So, here's the thing, guys. Stream is smooth. I didn't fix anything, but I am glad that you said that. I didn't fix a thing, actually. I'm still using the same phone that I've used for the past 6 scopes. And in addition to that, I haven't fixed anything with my bandwidth or the router or anything like that. But I think Periscope is upgrading their server technology and some of their bandwidth settings to make things better. They rolled out, I think it was 2 updates. They did Android first about 4 days ago. That's great, Austin. They did Android updates 4 days ago, and I think iPhone was 2 days ago. So I'm hoping that that had something to do with it. All right. So I just want to get something. Alright, so we got some music in the background. So you guys saw my notes a little bit. So what is vision, guys? Well, vision is the ability to see opportunity where there is seemingly none. But then the second component is to have the ability to act on that opportunity. Okay? Now this is the decisive factor. This is what separates successful people from unsuccessful people, is the vision that they have, the clarity of vision, and the ability to see opportunity. Okay? Now this is something that can be developed. Some people call this luck. Okay? But luck is really what happens when preparation and opportunity come together. We've all heard that quote before. But here's the thing. What is it? What does that mean? What is preparation? Well, it's being ready for an event. Now keep that key word in mind, because event is exactly what we're going to discuss at the end of this. And we're going to discuss one of the quickest billionaire stories that you'll ever hear at the end of this. Okay? And it's a true story, and it's documented. And basically it's one of the fastest billionaire earnings ever made in history. Okay? And we're gonna actually do a kind of a case study on it. Okay? So that's why I told you guys, if you guys are into real estate, definitely stay on. So opportunity is basically a set of circumstances that make something possible. Okay? Meaning that there are multiple variables that have to align if we're going to take control of an opportunity. Okay? So there's 2 components. We have to have the ability to see opportunity, number 1. Number 2 is the ability to act on the opportunity. Okay? Without both of these components, you will not be able to have vision. You will not be in the stories of luck, quote unquote luck. That person's lucky. There was no luck. There was 2 instances present at the same time. They saw opportunity and they could act on it. That's what luck is right there. Okay, guys? So let's go over this first one right here. What are the attributes for someone to be able to see opportunity? Well, the first one is specific knowledge, okay? Meaning that you have knowledge in one area and it's so good that people would definitely hire you and pay you money for it, okay? The next component is an exponential opportunity. So the exponential opportunity means that this is not linear, meaning that if you try at this opportunity, there will be a point where the growth shoots almost vertical, okay? That's an important component of being able to see opportunity. Number 3, there must be a tremendous market size. If you're trying to take advantage of an opportunity, you do not want a small market size, okay? Number 4, serendipitous mindset. What does that mean? That means that you essentially believe that you are lucky. You essentially believe that great things come your way, okay? And that is your mindset as you approach things. This is your belief system. This has to do with your belief system. And basically, if your belief system is on point, you will have clear vision. You will be able to see things that other people do not see. Number 5 is cognitive flexibility, guys. And this is a really, really large one, especially if you're going to be in startups. Okay? In the world of startups, remember what I told you guys, the number one thing that investors look for, and then there were 2 and 3. There were 3 major things that investors look for, okay? But the fact of the matter is that if you can't come outside of your own business idea and look at it from the viewpoint of someone that may be investing in it or someone that may be critical about your business, then you're dead in the water. You won't get anything started, okay? So that's called cognitive flexibility, is that you can see other people's points of view, even when you want to hold on to your own definition of something and your own belief system. You can still come outside of that and see how other people are seeing things. This is extremely key, okay? Extremely key. The next thing, number 6, is elastic behavior. And what that means is that you do not have extremely set patterns in the course of a week. Well, why is that important? Well, if you take the same route to work and you talk to the same exact people and they complain about the same exact shit and it's the same, you're going to be stuck exactly where you're at because your current actions, your current routine, your current schedule is exactly the reason that you're currently where you're at. Whether it's good or bad or whether you like it or enjoy it, it's just a creature of habit. It's just your habits that got you there. So elastic behavior means that you start changing things. You change the route to work. You eat lunch at a different time. You shop at different stores. You go to different malls. You have a different schedule. Having a schedule is great, but if you fall into the monotony of having the same schedule, you're not going to grow, okay? And you won't meet people that make you grow. So that also has to do with going out to new places, meeting new people. And the other half of this, the other half of having vision is going to touch on that tremendously. Number 7 is fearless vision, meaning that you do not allow fear to get in the way of what your vision is, okay? The fact of the matter is that if your vision is worth attaining, it should be scary, okay? Awesome, Mickey. Fear will always get in your way. There's a lot of different ways that fear can creep up. We're taught to question ourselves, okay? That's a defense mechanism. It's ingrained into our brains that we should avoid pain and that we should avoid failure, okay? The avoid pain part is biological. The avoid failure part is something that gets ingrained into our minds throughout the course of our education, okay? We're taught that if you fail, it's a bad thing. If you don't get an A, it's a bad thing. It's complete bullshit. If it was serious, then there would not be a multitude of people on the Forbes billionaire list that either dropped out of college or dropped out of high school, as a matter of fact, okay? So the whole idea to have fear of failure is complete bullshit. It doesn't amount to anything. As a matter of fact, there's a higher correlation of having fear to failure, of actually making you fail, than actually having a better life because you feared failure. Okay? So in essence, the very system that we grew up on and that educates us teaches us exactly how not to be successful. What it does teach us is how to follow a traditional path and become employees. That is what it teaches, okay? So, this is on a little bit of a tangent, but the fastest way is to be elastic with your education. That's the fastest way to have fearless vision. Be elastic with your education. Don't think that you have to go and get a traditional MBA to learn about college, to learn about business. You do not need a traditional education to learn those things. As a matter of fact, the same books that are being used in colleges are, quoting the same exact studies on Wikipedia, and it's all the same information, okay? Getting the information is more important than how you got it, all right? So a little bit of a tangent there, but I felt that it was necessary to explain that. And then number 8 is the resilient action sequence, okay? Resilient action sequence. What that means, I don't want you guys to see that last note yet. What that means is that if you fail on the course of doing whatever you are doing, you must be resilient and you must be able to bounce back. All right, so once again, we're going over the ability to see opportunity. Now, people have a lot of cognitive biases, okay? When someone fails, their immediate reaction to failing is to either, pull away from taking risk and to just sit on the sideline, or the second reaction could be to go towards failure and take even more risk. But neither of those is the logical way of doing it. Those are reactive. Those are cognitive biases, and they're based off of reactions, okay? And you guys can research the many cognitive biases on Wikipedia or other websites that go into depth talking about those. But if you have a cognitive bias, or any of them, it's going to inhibit your ability to see opportunities, okay? Because you're going to become a very emotional person, and none of your actions will be logical. So there's our question. Why do some succeed? We're going to go to the second part now, which is the ability to act on opportunity. Okay? So the ability to act on opportunity, the first thing that you must have to act on opportunity, if you've already accomplished everything in the left column, you've already seen opportunity, you must have financial abundance. Okay? Now by that I mean assets and income. Okay? Preferably income before assets. Okay? The reason why this is important is because if you do not have abundance, then it's going to be very hard for you to actually get people to go in and on the opportunity with you, because they're not going to trust you. I mean, think about everybody that you want to follow on Periscope. How many of them are successful, right? Your success will automatically encourage other people to be successful and encourage other people to follow what you do and to think what you think, okay? That's human nature. That's a little bit of human nature there. But, if you have these financial means, when you do see opportunity, you'll be in a quick place to act because you won't necessarily have to depend on other people for financing, okay? So, the ability to act, number 2, socially adept, okay? It's going to be very hard to take advantage of opportunity if you don't know how to talk to people, and you don't know how to make friends, you don't know how to make business contacts, okay? So having that social ability is going to tremendously impact your ability to act on opportunity. Tremendously. Guys, if we can keep the hearts going and just invite some people, because we're going through this second column, let's get some invites in before I keep going on. My other phone is blowing up on quad. I guess there's a lot of people who don't want to learn how to actually attain wealth. Everybody's talking about, I don't know. They should be on the scope. Anyways, guys, number 3, is a large professional network, meaning LinkedIn and people from your workplace or people that are in your industry or people that are doing things that are similar to you. Now, you can make this network in many ways, but it does take effort, okay? And later on, we're going to talk about why that's important. But having a network will allow you to act on opportunity like you would not believe, okay? People look out for their friends. Now, hopefully, your professional network is composed of people who make substantially more income than yourself. That is also important. So you don't want to have a large professional network of people who work at Subway. No offense to people who work at Subway, but I would rather have a professional network of franchise owners who own Subways, okay? So the point of that being that you want to have people in your network that have better means than yourself, okay? Because chances are that they can do better things than you in some way, shape, or form, and that's your learning curve right there. If you can learn from them, it'll be much quicker. Next is a large local network. For anybody who's into real estate, this one's especially important. Your local network is going to determine exactly how you get funneled deals, exactly how you become privy to information. That's our next one, privy knowledge. Okay, so all of these go hand in hand, guys. These are not really separate things. These are things that go hand in hand, and ideally you would want to have them all in abundance. Okay. And the next one is just basically the privy knowledge, which I just talked about. If you have a large professional network and a large local network, chances are you're going to become privy to knowledge that other people do not have. Now, this is the knowledge that you would not be able to get by having specific knowledge. Now, let's say, you have specific knowledge in real estate. That doesn't necessarily mean that you know where the next real estate deal is going to go down, where it's an estate sale and they're selling the house at, a 40% fire sale, and you can immediately flip that house for, 20 to 30%, in a matter of a month. So privy knowledge is just as important as having specific knowledge, but it's only going to occur if you have large professional networks and large local networks. And then lastly, we're going to talk about resource flush, which is basically an abundance of time, energy, cash, and credit. Okay? Time, energy, cash, and credit. So if you have an abundance of those things, that's going to contribute very positively to your ability to act on opportunity. So here we have all these things, and I'll zoom out if you guys want to take a screenshot. And we're going to get to what's on the bottom in a second, okay? So, guys, I want you to really listen to what I'm about to say here. This is extremely important. Let's invite some more people. Because this right here is probably the biggest takeaway from today's discussion on opportunity. Thank you, Perla. Come on, guys. Let's invite. Now, in 2010, I believe it was, I started reading a book called The Coming Crash in the Housing Market. Okay? It was called The Coming Crash in the Housing Market. Now, I immediately flipped open the book and I looked on the inside cover, and it turns out that this book was written in 2003. Okay? Now, if you know anything about the housing crash started its peak along with the stock market crash in about September, October of 2007, okay? And just slightly before that as well, the housing market started crashing, and there was a very, very large credit disruption in the housing market, okay? Fast forward to 2010, and someone writes a book. His name's Gregory Zuckerman. Now, I want you guys, if you guys are into real estate, you absolutely must read these two books. Okay, it will change the way you look at the entire real estate market, and it will probably make you never want to buy a house. Okay, just because of the knowledge contained in these two books. Now, that is not traditional knowledge, right? Most people say, hey, buying a house is an asset, blah, blah, blah. Well, read these 2 books, and then after you have all the information and all the charts in front of you, then come back and you will be able to tell that person that says you should get a house exactly why it's probably not a great idea. Anyways, that's a tangent. The thing that's important about these 2 books is that The Coming Crash in the Housing Market was written in 2003. That gave people 4 years to prepare for what is called literally the greatest trade ever. Okay? Now, what is the greatest trade ever? If you read that book, there's a story about a hedge fund manager. His name's John Paulson. John Paulson, in 2007, his earned income was $4 billion. $4 billion. Okay? That was his income in 2007. He immediately was catapulted to the title of billionaire in 1 year, and people call that the greatest trade ever. Okay? What did he do? He basically bought what are called credit default swaps, okay, which are insurance against collateralized debt obligations. Now, these are technical words, but basically the credit that goes into buying a house, okay, certain people are paying those mortgages, and those mortgages get resold and repackaged to other investors who are going to make money. Monthly payments will get paid to them based upon the ability of the mortgage holder to pay off their house. So if the mortgage holder does not have the ability to pay off their house, the people who buy the CDOs, they get shafted, okay? But essentially, these people were told that, of course, people are going to pay off their mortgages. Who wants to lose their house? People are always going to pay off their mortgages no matter what, right? Wrong. People will do what they have to survive. And if it means walking away from their house and their mortgage, they will do that. Okay? And this is what we learned in 2007. This is what caused the housing market crash. Now, what John Paulson did was he basically bought the insurance that was going to make him a fortune if people stopped paying mortgages on those houses. Okay? There's a lot more technicalities to it, but that is the basic gist of it. So John Paulson, either one of 2 things could happen. If people continued to pay their mortgages and the housing market continued to go up, John Paulson would be very poor. Okay? He would lose all that money. He raised $150 million to put into this. Okay? So he had a $150 million bet. He had a $150 million bet. Partly his own money, partly his investors' money. And to boot, he was not the only person making this bet. A lot of people that were privy to financial engineering knew that this was going to happen. The person who wrote this book, John Talbot, was not the only person that knew the housing crash was coming. Tons of people did, and you can see his book was published in 2003, which means that he probably started writing it in 2001 or 2002. So when this crash happened, everybody said, we didn't see it coming. Well, really? Well, there were several people who saw it 6 years in advance and prepared for it for 6 years. And guess what that payment was? For John Paulson, it was a $4 billion payday. He made $4 billion in 2007, and what that equates to is $10 million a day. He was making $10 million a day in 2007 because of that $150 million bet. Now think about that. Now this is not linear. This does not mean that you make a $150 million bet and then if those mortgages go sour, he makes 100%. He was making multiples of that $150 million, and that's why he was making that $4 billion payday, essentially payday, many paydays in 2007. But I want you to walk away with this, guys. Some people have vision, okay? John Talbot and other people had the vision to see in 2003 that something was not working in the housing market. Now, they can't predict exactly when an economic collapse is going to come. You can't do that. What you can predict is that something doesn't look right. Okay? You can predict when something doesn't look right, and you can predict when something cannot be upheld, when things cannot continue. Now, all throughout history, if you look in this book, The Coming Crash in the Housing Market, there are many charts, many charts. And one of the charts that comes to mind, I believe it's also in this book, is the tulip mania. If you've never heard of tulip mania, there was a time in history where tulips were being sold for more than houses. Think of that, a tulip. Yes, just like a rose, the tulip. It sounds crazy, right? Imagine if a rose was selling for more than a house. Imagine how stupid that would sound. Well, there was a time in history where this happened. And that market also crashed. And so there's a saying that any market that becomes exponential will always crash. It's always happened in every single period throughout history. It will happen again in the student loan market. That's the next crash to come. But what you need to know is that it all boils down to this: the ability to see opportunity and the ability to act on it. And that's pretty much it, guys. Whew. So we got through that pretty quick. What'd you guys think of that? What'd you guys think of that? Is the connection still good in here? Awesome, Scotty, awesome. Thank you. Glad you guys could get something out of it. Well, that's great. That means that, guys, I'm referring to Money's question. He says, what if you see the opportunity, but you don't have the ability to act? Okay? Thank you, Yvette. At least you have 50% of the equation down then, right? So you have, if you can see those opportunities, you have all those things on the left side. You have a good sense of intuition. You have the ability to see things in the technical aspects, but it doesn't mean that you have the ability to act out on them. And that's where you got to start acting on all of these things on the right side. All right. So you want to have the financial abundance. So start working on, getting as much of a cushion financially in your bank account. If that means getting a second job or a third job, it could mean that. It also means becoming more socially adept, going outside of your comfort zone and making some decent connections. Acquiring assets, acquiring the ability to have free time. So this way you can study things. Okay, you want cash, you want credit, you want all these things. And of course, energy. You gotta have a certain amount of physical ability and physical energy. Everybody talks about abundance in terms of income and assets, but abundance is also the ability to tonight I'll probably be up till 2 a.m. in the morning studying. That's abundance. That's energy abundance. If you can put forth that type of energy into getting a deal. Why do I think the student loan market will crash? You have to read that book, okay? Read The Coming Crash in the Housing Market, and he explains exactly how to spot any crash years before it happens. He did it. He started writing the book, I think it was in 2001 and 2002, and the fact of the matter is he spotted it before he started writing the book. So he saw this crash coming a decade in advance, but he tells you specifically the financial calculations and the charts to look at to tell whether or not something is going to crash. And I'll give you a hint with that. The first hint is the ratio of the cost of something versus median household income. Okay, so there's a financial ratio or a bunch of financial ratios that you can do mathematically on a spreadsheet. And you can do it by region if you want to have the ability to prosper just in a certain region, because certain regions are more economically stable than others. For instance, you know, in the housing crash, when that happens, there's still multi-million-dollar apartments in New York City that are going for $50 million. Okay, even though there was just a crash, they might decrease, 20% or 15%. But the fact of the matter is that that market is so well padded because there's always going to be some billionaire that doesn't really care about the cost of that apartment. They just want the apartment no matter what. So that book, though, was key in determining all of these guys, all of the hedge fund managers and all of the financial institutions that took advantage of that housing crash. They saw it coming, and to their advantage, they didn't tell anybody. Even if they did tell the government, even if they sat down and they told the president, Mr. President, there's an issue, and we're pretty sure that this is going to happen, they would get written off. Nobody would have believed them. Every single person, including the economists on CNBC and all these other guys, they all said there's no way there's going to be a housing crash. Even what was happening, the guy that's the head of, I forgot the organization. I believe it was. I'm trying to look for this while I'm on here, but I think it was basically one of these organizations that had to do with the realtors, right? And so even like October, September, everything is horrible. Literally the housing market is crashing. Okay, 20%, 30% decrease in the valuation of homes, and the guy that's the head of the Realtors Association is on CNBC saying there's no problem. There's no problem. There's no problem. People are losing millions of dollars, hundreds of millions. Financial corporations are losing hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. You have places like Iceland losing billions of dollars. There's no problem. It's no problem if you're the one making the money off of what they're losing. But of course he has to go on there and be a talk piece and say there's no problem. Because if he said anything else, then everybody else would put their house on the market and the entire market would crash. You can't believe what these people say, even though they're in a position of being either an advisor or a trusted head of whatever association. If it's in their financial gain to say something, they'll say it no matter what the truth is. And that's exactly what happened. Even after the crash happened, he would not admit that there was an issue. And that's the way it is. They never will. Who knows? He's probably a person who profited from that crash as well. They'll never admit it, though. But you can go online and you can see that. It's somewhere on YouTube where they're asking him about the housing market and what the potential is for the housing market to bounce back. And he's on there and he's saying, oh, there's no problem. It's going to bounce back. It always has. And yet these other people with vision could see 10 years in advance. All right, so guys, it was a little bit, I started a little bit late tonight. Do you guys have any questions? I'm actually, I have a few articles that I want to read before I get to bed, so I'm going to go and hit those off really quick. I really appreciate you guys hopping on tonight. I hope you guys got something out of that. I hope you had the vision to see what that could lead into in terms of your own life. And the reason that we went through all 8 of these pieces in the Startup Warplan was to give you an idea of exactly how to execute whatever business idea you had. Okay? And so if you were not on the prior 7, they're on my Catch account. Let me bring that up really quick. Alright, so there's my Catch account, catch.me/fitbusinessman. Alright, money, sounds good. So you guys can check that out. And basically, that is it for tonight, guys. I don't see any questions, so I'm going to assume you guys digested all of that. And be sure to get those 2 books. I'll show it one more time. Give these a read. Definitely worth a read. Okay? The Coming Collapse, or The Coming Crash in the Housing Market, and The Greatest Trade Ever. So that's your homework. Do you know if you can get the first video? Yes, Pete, I'm going to redo it because it didn't catch, even though I added you're welcome, Yvette. Even though I added the hashtag to the title, it didn't catch, and I was really upset, so I'm going to do the whole thing over because basically the entire series is rooted by that first video. And so I'm going to have to go over it again. Cool. Alright guys, so Monday night, you guys are here killing it. You could be doing something else, but you're investing in yourself and you're investing in your knowledge. Take everything I talked about, put it to use, because that's the only way that it's any good, is if you put it to use and if you actually execute. That's what it's about. It's all about action. No matter how much knowledge you have, you know, on that first column, you have to be able to see it. You have to have the basic knowledge, but then you also have to be able to execute on it. And then lastly, you have to execute. You have to be a person who gets shit done. All right? And so I tell myself this. I'm telling myself this as much as I'm telling you guys this. We always have to remind ourselves, and that's why it's important to be around like-minded people. All right? Get your social influence up. Find people in your social circle that are going the same direction as you. And hopefully you find a few people that are actually a little bit further than you. So this way they can pull you up to that next level. All right? Alrighty guys, so again, let me just, if you guys want to connect with me, Instagram, Periscope, and Snapchat, it's Fit Businessman. Tomorrow I'm going to redo the first video, actually. Since so many people have asked about it, I'm going to redo it tomorrow night. And that way we get the whole series on catch. And then from there, I have a few other things that I want to start talking about. I just keep coming up with ideas. And it might not be every night because I need some time to work on my startup and get my ideas going. But I will definitely be on throughout the course of the week. I've got some cool events coming up that I'm going to be doing on Periscope and hang out with Pete. Yeah, exactly. Because otherwise, if you don't hang out with people that already have what you want, you'll think that it's just something that's over there. You'll think that it's not attainable. But, you know, I'm constantly looking at houses and cars and vacations and stuff. You know, you constantly have to fill your mind with those images. It's extremely important. However, there are studies, I will tell you this before I let you guys go. There are studies that say that if you find too much joy in living that experience through just the computer and looking at it, that you have less of a chance of achieving your goal because you put less of, I guess I would say, an emphasis on doing the actions to achieve that goal, and you become wired to just look at it. And, you know, so be very careful with that. There's a couple studies done on that. Yeah, social influence is extremely important. Extremely important. If you give someone who doesn't know anything the right social circle, and they are average at skills that you are excellent at, I will pick that person any day for success and investment. Yes, you have to have the positivity and the emotion beforehand. Can you just type that second one? That second one disappeared a little too quick. I didn't get a chance to see it. What was that second comment? Yeah, it can cause frustration. It does. It does cause frustration. This is the way that when I was reading that psychology journal that talked about that, they suggested that you reframe how you view and how you visualize. You know, you don't want to visualize things and become content with seeing them or seeing someone else have that car or seeing someone else have that house. You want to reframe it to where you reverse engineer things. So if you see a house you want, you see a car you want, you see a vacation that you want, okay, then what you would do is the reframing would say, what are the actions that will enable me to get that? What is the income that will enable? And so you shift the mentality. The mentality goes from, ooh, that's pretty and nice, and it would be nice to have that, to I can have that. What are the steps that I need to take? So they suggested that whenever you do a visualization of things that you want to have or experiences that you want to have, to actually reframe things. Big Think on YouTube about motivation. I'm not familiar what that is. Is that a podcast or is that someone's channel? Right, you could also do that. You shift to small goals. You try to cascade goals on top of each other. You try to develop momentum with your goals, but it has to be action-oriented. A psychology channel on Kindle. Interesting. I'll definitely check that out. I review all the comments from all these scopes. And actually, I got another idea of what I want to talk to you guys about just then. What's up, video? Thanks for joining. What's up? What's up? Yeah, unfortunately, I just got done talking about the lesson that I gave, which was on vision. Right. You need to have a balance of big goals and achievable goals. That's definitely the best way to go. I talked about vision and basically the separating factor between people who succeed and do not succeed, especially if they are equally talented, is the ability to see opportunity and to act on opportunity. So two things: the ability to see opportunity, the ability to act on the opportunity. And so that's the underlying idea. If people seem to have different levels of success, it's usually not skill related. It's usually not. It's usually one of those two things, if not both. I would venture to say over 90% of the time it's both. If they had the ability to see opportunity and to act on it, those people will always be more successful regardless of what their skill level is. You know, it's kind of like, what if you ever see, I forgot the name of that show. What was the show where the guy got the newspaper a day in advance? You guys remember that? It's like from the 90s or the 80s. So the guy would get tomorrow's newspaper today, right? And there would always be something he would feel compelled to like prevent a tragedy or something like that. So how valuable is vision, right? How valuable is having the ability to see what's going to happen in the future now? It's invaluable, right? I mean, you can't even assign a value to it. It's that valuable. So vision is definitely even more important than skills or, you know, IQ or any of that. The ability to have vision and to execute on opportunities is the most important thing. Alrighty. So guys, if you missed anything, I'll show you the catch link one more time. You can go on there, give it a minute to process this current video, and then all of the videos that we did for the Startup Warplan will be on there except for video number 1, which I will redo tomorrow night. All right, guys? So enjoy the night, and hope you guys all execute on what you learned today. Start expanding your financial means and your social ability to network, both the ability to network and the size of your network professionally and locally. All right? I will talk to you guys later. Be sure to execute.